What's happening, YouTube? All right, we'll wait for about a minute or so, see if some people come up in here, and we'll talk about surviving a bear market in trucking. This Trucking Life, what's going on first? Here, we'll add you to the broadcast because you are first. Well, we think you're first. Let's see. Let me go to the live channel, click on that, turn that off so we can see some chat. Jersey Trucker, what's happening? I'm doing okay. A little tired for mats, man. That's a lot of walking, a lot of standing. We had a good time though, right? We had a good time with Thunder Funding 123 Load Board. We always have a great time with those folks. Our secondary family, right? Our family, and just good times. Good evening, Daryl. Fishing is life. What's happening? My name is Nobody. Good evening, Matt K. Of course, DJ again, Jose. Desert Okie Pam. What's happening? Jerome Jones. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Now, there's a lot of people on YouTube that try to forecast rates and so forth. No one knows. You could look at programs, you know, these places try to sell you these programs and data. Do those mean anything? Not really. Not really. You can't predict nothing off of those. Because if you could, everybody would be millionaires. Just like the stock market, right? You have all these people out there going to try to sell you things, sell you programs. Oh, this program works. If it worked, everybody would be billionaires, correct? You can't predict the stock market. You can have a best guess which way it's going to go. And the same thing with trucking freight rates. So don't get caught up in the gimmicks and everything else, right? On, you know, if you watch these programs and they broadcast this stuff, it doesn't really mean much to you because it's not what's happening at this moment. You have to have a business plan and a strategy, especially in down markets, that will allow you to be profitable and get to the other side, which is mindset. Because almost all of you out there have the skill set to drive the truck, go from point A to point B, get the truck loaded, unloaded, on time. That's a skill set. But there's a lot of folks that don't have the mindset. And if anybody watched the Asian Maya interview that I did and read the comments, you're going to see a whole lot of all over the place comments, people that don't agree with me, things like that. But what they cannot disagree with is the numbers. Math never lies, folks. And this is a business. Get your emotions out of it. Get your mind, because they have the wrong mindset, these folks. They have the mindset of, I need this much per mile. I'm not going to haul for nothing less than this much per mile. And if you do that, when times are like this, it's the easiest way to have to close the doors, sign, out of business, bankrupt, etc., etc. Easiest and fastest way to go out of business in trucking is to have the mindset that I'm only going to haul for this much per mile because you think that is what you need when it actually isn't, and you think that you're going to haul for that because everything else is cheap. Just because one business owner in trucking can haul that load for a significant rate per mile below yours doesn't mean they're hauling cheap freight. Just means they have a better business model. That's what it means. Because every business has different costs. If you look at the restaurant industry, McDonald's has different costs than Burger King, Five Guys, In-N-Out, Whataburger. They all have different costs. That's why each person's hamburgers, french fries, and sodas are different prices, because they have different costs. Same thing in trucking. Not everybody has the same cost. I could go out and buy a brand new truck. Jerome could go out and buy the same brand new truck, but we're going to have different costs, because we're not going to get it for the same amount down. We're not going to get it for the same interest rate. And I have different home bills than he has. So in trucking, it's just not your business. You also have to include your home bills. And then that's where the big difference lies between how one business truck owner can haul a load for as low as $1.07, let's say. We're just going to make up a number, where the other driver needs $2 a mile. And it's all because of the home expenses. And he could be driving, if you drive the same truck, he could be at a 15% interest rate, and the other guy could be at a 6% interest rate, which is a lot of money per month for payments. It's a huge difference. What's up, Leroy? What's going on? Snore Lord. Okay, give him his little thing there. Evening, Canadian Freight Broker. What's going on? Build to be bought or buy to build. That seems new trend. Right. Lauren, they were going to fix that, right? They're going to fix that weight for the heavy haul. And hopefully it's fixed by now. They already have it fixed, but I think they wait until their next update, which is every couple weeks. So it is going to be on there. Jersey Truck said, I hear you with walking. My knee is killing me, and ice is not helping anymore. Well, take some ibuprofen. Something. Jersey saying hi to everybody. Fish is life. Certain reefer markets still consistent, but it's hard to get back to them. Produce season seems like a myth at the moment. Well, could be a myth. They had some pretty rough weather, right, for produce. Produce might be in trouble this year. Got to agree with your ideas. Your record shows it, says Sean Fairman. Look, I came up with this system years ago. And because, like 100% of the drivers, you go back to the old school, it was all about how much money you made per mile, right? It was all rate per mile. That's what everybody talked about, rate per mile. But, you can remember back in the early 90s, if you leased your truck onto a mega carrier, it was 80 cents a mile back then. 80 cents. That's all it was. You didn't get no more and no less. Everybody's 80 cents a mile across the board. So that was the norm, except if you got into Landstar, then they got more than that, right? Because they were at $1.20, $1.30, but you got your 67% of 98 back then, which was weird, but come out to 65.66%. So you basically say 65% of 100. Now, you fast forward to today, and well, back then, I went to Landstar, stayed there 10 years, and had that same mindset in the early days about I'm not going to haul for nothing less than $1.50 a mile back then, or $2 a mile. And you would sit there for days, right? If you went to California, back in those days in January, February, March, and you try to get out of there for a decent rate, you might have to sit there for 3 to 5 days. Been there, done that. Same thing with Florida. Go down to Jacksonville, stay in St. Augustine at the terminal, sit there, and the place was packed, right? Packed, no one went anywhere. 20, 30 people in there looking on computers, and no one taking the loads because everybody was, we got to make this much per mile. And you would go broke if you had a truck that broke down on you a lot because you wasn't making any money. So then I said, there's got to be a better way. So then I came up with cost per day, where I added up all my business expenses, all of my home expenses, threw in there a buffer, right, for maintenance and other things that might happen in your personal life that you might need extra money for the house, and came up with how much money to make per day. So then I started booking loads by the daily rate. Didn't care what the mileage rate was. Doesn't matter if it was $1, doesn't matter if it was $5. Doesn't matter anywhere in between. That makes zero difference. Because as long as you looked at that rate, took your percentage, subtracted your fuel, and if that made your daily rate for your business and your household, you are golden. There's no way you could go out of business because you're covering all your expenses. Hello?
Mr. Jeff?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, we thought that was pigtail for a minute because it came from that town in Missouri. But it was getting some tires. We had a contractor getting National Tire account. So I just had to verify that, they're able to get the National Tire account tires. So back to where we were. So that's where you get a lot of heat, right? Because you talk about, hey man, you could run for $1 a mile, or you could run for $5 a mile, or anywhere in between. People saying, oh, well, you're what's wrong with the business, right? No, that's what's wrong. You don't treat it like a business. Most truck drivers treat it like a truck driver. And they get caught up on this rate per mile. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is, right? They get caught up on that, and that's the fastest way out of trucking. It's the fastest way. Because if you're caught up on that, and there's bad times like now, you're going to be sitting in truck stops doing nothing. And you cannot get back your most valuable thing, and that's time. You cannot get it back. So if you sit there for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days, you can't get that back. You can't make money for those 5 days. You can never get it back. And you just go further in a hole. So that's what we try to teach everybody out there, and especially the men and women that are our business partners contracted on over here. And I go over that with them and show them, look, no one likes to run for $1.30, right? We're going to throw a number out there. No one likes to run for that, correct? Put a yes in the chat if you agree. No one likes to run for that. But if you look at all the loads that you could really run for, there's no reason you have to sit anytime. There's always a load for you. And it could take you to a better area where you get more money, right? So, and I proved this. And Snorler knows, we talked to one of our guys, and we went over all of his truck stuff, all of home expenses, even added in extra money, thousands of dollars added in there, and come up to, I'll throw a number out there, come up to $200 a day. Long as you make $200 a day, his business, his home, everything, anything above that is pure profit, right? Pure profit. So there's no load out there, basically, he can't run. So I even showed him, I said, look, here's $1.30 a mile. Picks up right over here, goes one day, 500 something miles, add dead hit it in there, it's 600, just over 600 miles, and he would still be $80 pure profit above the 200 he needed, instead of sitting there. I says, you would never take that load, would you? No, I would never take that load. But once you explain and say, look, you could take this load, you would have a profit if you took this load. And business, my friends, is all about profit. It's all about profit. So it doesn't matter if it's a penny profit or $1,000 profit. A profit is a profit. Same thing, and you could put this to stock trading. Hey, if you sell the stock and you made a profit, you made a profit. It's better than making a loss. Too many losses and you're out of the game. So why do that? Why handcuff yourself to a rate per mile and put yourself out of the game? Why do that? So, if you're having a hard time out there, go ahead and implement this strategy, try it out, and you will see the numbers don't lie. As long as you put the numbers down right and you stick to it and run every single day that you're out there, never sit, and that'll open up a vast amount of loads to you instead of the loads you would even look at, right? You'd say, oh, there's only 6 loads here that pay $250 a mile or above, and you call and they're all gone, and you disregard the other 400 loads. Why? Because you're not mentally in the game. You're an entrepreneur, but you're not an entrepreneur because you have the skill set, but you don't have the mindset to be the entrepreneur. Because real entrepreneurs do not work for a paycheck. It's not about a paycheck. And that's what most drivers treat it as a paycheck. They get the paycheck mentality. You got to get rid of that. You got to get the business mentality. And the business mentality is profit per day. You got to know what your daily expense is. Every business has a daily expense to stay alive, right? They all have it. So let's see what's going on here. Canadian Freight Broker says, I will look it up, but most of the pain is from hopping around with the crutches. It's funny how people can't wrap their head around moving freight from A to B for the lowest overhead possible. Right, Stuart? They cannot wrap their head around it. They can't. So, for example, if we go to, let me see if the 123 load board, and I love this board. And if you use my discount, you get it for $35, right? 48035. But this has the profit calculator in here. So if you know that your daily expenses, let's say $300 a day, and here's this load right here from KLA Construction, $900, $1.53, right? Goes 589 miles, and if it picked up today and delivered tomorrow, then you got to profit $300. So if you go to profit calculator, if you're on an 80-20 program, this has got your fuel and everything in there. Look, it's $371. You would make that. If it was 2 days to do this load, then no, you'd have to make $600, $300 for each day. If it's 1 day, that's a good load. Here's a load for $1.23 from Global X Logistics. We will click on that and see if it'll give us the detail. All right. So in this detail, if you need, like our one guy, he needs $200 a day. That's only $171. A little bit short. But if he made $300 or $400 the day before, and this load was available at the time he could pick up and go, he could actually do this run because this gets him close. Something's better than nothing, right? It's just like restaurants. They stay open all day, even though 4 or 5 or 6 hours, not one customer comes in. Or if 1 or 2 does come in, something's better than nothing. So this here, he could talk him up $20-$30, and then he'd be right in the game, right? That individual would be right in the game. But we come down here to, let's keep going down. 254. So let's 254 a mile load. Pays $1,000, 393 miles, and $340 for the day because of the additional cost of tolls, right? So still could haul it. And have money left over. Roll down here. Here's a short run. Well, $371 for $600, $1.62. He needs $200. Bam. You can run that. $277. He's still $77 pure profit to the good. And most people wouldn't even look at that load, right? All the rate per milers would say, I am not doing that load because look, it's 371 miles. It only pays this. This is all I'm going to get. Now I'm not doing it, right? They wouldn't do it. But if you know your cost per day, and if it was $200, you could run that. Would it be great? No, of course not. You'd much rather have one of these $1,000 loads, you know, because you make a little more money. Let's look at some other stuff here. Youngstown, Ohio to Hebron, Kentucky, 300 miles, $800, $483. Right, this is a much better load. If you need $200, you got $283 pure profit above. If you need $300, you got $183. If you need $400 a day, you see how it works. You got $84 to the good. And some guys say, I need $3 a mile. No, you don't. You could do it at $266 on this short run. And you could plug this in here. If you pay 10% dispatch fee or fee and you have other fees like $200 weekly, divide that by 7 days and put in a daily cost there. And then you would know what your profit would be on that load. If you click on the miles, you could change those, the fuel cost. You go in here, and if you don't get 8 miles a gallon and you get 7, put 7 in there. And it's going to change your number down here. It'll change this number. So that works like this. If you say I get 7, say it goes to 461. If you say I get 9, it goes to 501. And if you get a 5 mile gallon truck, it goes to 390. So you can see what happens with a fuel efficient truck and a non-fuel efficient truck. If you got a guy that gets 5 miles a gallon, he's only making 390 on that load. And if you get 9 miles a gallon, you're beating him by $111. And we put 8.5, 493. Jersey says, Stuart, we can't fix stupid, just saying. What's up, MTM Music Group? If you have a lower expenses paid off equipment, I believe you can survive this. MTM, you can survive this with a brand new truck. A brand new truck. You can survive this market with a $3,700 a month truck payment and $800 insurance payment. So it's $4,500 a month. You can survive it because your daily cost is not that great. People, look, do the math. You take a $200,000 semi-truck, brand new, can survive this market. Because if you break it all down, insurance, plates, $2,290, year after taxes, everything, your payment, you're looking at about $148 a day for that truck. $148 a day. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then you add in your home stuff on top of that. So, if you have low overhead at home, you could drive a brand new truck, brand new trailer, all day long, and haul what people would call cheap freight, and you would survive easily. Easily. Because most paid off equipment costs more than a brand new truck to operate. That's proven. It's a proven fact. Because with a brand new truck, with 5-year, 500,000 mile warranty, 6-year, 600,000 mile warranty, you don't have to worry about the major component breakdown to where on a used truck, you just drive around and then you sit at home, because I've had old used trucks before with over 1 million miles on them, and you make enough money, you sit home, and then when the money starts running low, you get back out there, but then what happens? The truck breaks. And back then it was a lot different. It was cheaper. Nowadays, it costs, 10 times what it used to cost to fix the truck. Right? Because back then, you could go in a shop and get a turbo put on for $1,000. Now you're talking $8,000 to $9,000. And they didn't have one boxes back then that were $18,000. So the used truck, you still have a truck payment. You just don't know when it's going to hit you. So if I had a used truck, I'm putting the same amount of money back in a maintenance account as what I'd be paying for a new truck's truck payment. Because you never know when you're going to need that $15,000 here, $20,000 there. I know a gentleman that spent $70,000 last year repairing trucks, repairing his one truck, to where a $3,600 truck payment is only $42,000 and some change a year. So that new truck costs less than the guy with the old equipment. Plus all the downtime, right? All the downtime. 80 cents in fuel was $1 a gallon. The good old days. Yeah, but also, Jose, the trucks got 4 to 5 miles a gallon, right? I mean, they weren't getting 7 miles a gallon back then. And they weren't aerodynamic either, right? Jeff, I sent you an email. Not sure if you've seen it. It was part of the conversation from February 8th. I will have to look. It might have gotten my spam mail. I deleted a bunch of messages because my mailbox was getting full. And so I have to look it up and see if I can find it. What's up, Josh? Yeah, I know I'm muted. I had to answer the phone call. I thought it was Pigtail in the bunch because it came right from that town. But it was one of our contractors getting the tires on the national account that we have, right? Fisher for Life says, yes, I hear you. I've been trying to run the short and mid game. It's hard to turn down a last minute load where they're paying the big bucks, though. I got to haul for $150, $175 to get back. And a lot of people won't haul for that fish in his life. They won't. So they'll sit there, right? They'll sit there for days, and all they're doing is hurting their business, right? They're hurting their business, and they don't even know it because they're letting their ego and letting everybody else in the trucking industry on YouTube and everywhere else tell them that it's low cost per mile, their cost per mile, you got to run for this much per mile, and they get them in their mindset that, oh, I can't haul that cheap stuff because they call it cheap. And what's cheap to one person isn't cheap to another business because it's business. That's the same with brokers. Brokers the same thing, right? They're a business. So if they can get a truck to haul it for $1.80, they're going to give it to him before they give it to a guy that wants $2.50 or $3. It's a business. They want to keep as much in their pocket also because they have overhead and they have time invested. It's a business. Just like shippers. When you start seeing the tender rejections, they're taking it away from their dedicated people and sticking it out there on the spot market. Because when the spot market falls below that rate, why does the shipper want to pay trucking company A $3 a mile to haul their freight when they can get the spot market to do it for $2.25? They just tell the contract people, hey, that load canceled, and they give it to the spot market. Everybody's been there, right? We all know what happens. I agree, they get caught up in the rate per mile. I've tried to explain this to my friend. Now he closes doors. And that happens to a lot of people, MTM. And it's sad because a lot of people don't understand business, right? Let's face it. Trucking, when the rates are high, anybody can do well in trucking. Can we agree on that? When the rates, when you can just close your eyes and throw a dart at the board and it's $3, $4, $5 a mile, anybody can be successful in trucking. Anybody. That's why it's so easy. You got a CDL. If you got credit, you go buy a truck. You get on you get your own authority. You pay for that. You get on 123 load board, DAT, truck stop, whatever load board you're using, and you just call brokers and grab freight. And when it pays that much money, of course you're going to do well. But when those people close their doors is when this happens, right? And this happens every so many years in trucking. And it's nothing new. These rates are nothing new. We've seen them before. The fuel, we've seen it before. But those folks haven't seen it before. And then they go under because they're living at home to this high level. They bought the trucks at this high level. And when it goes down in half, something's got to break. What's up, Luz? What's going on? Pigtail's late. No problem. Pigtail, come on out. Easter Sunday, we'll do a barbecue with some of that barbecue sauce. Come on over. Flying over. What's up, Nomadic Brit? Nomadic Brit, did you see what happened? Did you see the video, Nomadic Brit, of our newest contractor? Even in this market, we're growing our business, right? We're growing the business and we're doing new part of the business, right? So when I had the one international I did a lease purchase with one of our drivers, contractors, and then he purchased it, right? He bought it out early, and I just went out and the company bought a brand new truck, another lease purchase, and we'll let that go here for a month or two, and then we'll look at possibly 1, 2, or 3 more. Because show people that they can make it in this market. That way, when it turns around, they're going to make it really well. And then when the market goes back to this again, they won't be stressing. Because if you can make it through this market, you can make it through anything. But you have to have the mindset. And the mindset is know what your business needs per day to stay operating. And include your home expenses. That's part of your business. Unless you have a wife or a husband at home that makes enough money to pay all the house stuff. And all you got to worry about is trucking. But if you're the main breadwinner and that's what it takes, you got to add it all together. Divide that how many days you're going to be on the road, and that's your daily cost for that business. And there you go. If you want to know a daily cost every single day, add up everything per month, times it by 12, divide it by 365 days, and that's your every single day of the year cost to run your business and your household. And as things change, that number will change, and then you'll know what it's going to cost you. It's a lot easier than rate per mile. A lot easier. Because fuel fluctuates all over the place. So you know what fuel is as of today. You know what it's going to cost you. You got the profit calculator right here in 123 Load Board. These guys gave you this. It's a great tool. No matter if you look for loads on here, sign up for 123 Load Board and use the tools. Right? They have grid loads that come on their board. They're getting more daily. No one beats the tools they give you. And you can stick that in. You can stick rate check in there. They got a rate check tool. And they have these down here. And CDN knows how valuable these are. But they got the rate check. They got Cargo Chief and green screens. Cargo Chief is an extra add-on. But what Cargo Chief is, if you don't know, if you click on here, is market rate estimates that are based on the highest, middle, and lowest rates gathered from actual freight bills rather than quoted prices. So it's from actual freight bills that were negotiated. So there you go. It's a powerful tool. Tornadoes in Michigan, watch out. So Normatic Brit, if you didn't see that, STT Trucking is over here now. And she will do really well. And of course, you can watch it on the video, right? Because she'll video it. If you need $15K a month to survive, to pay all my bills and put some money away, it does me no good. If I only make $13K and don't care how I get there, I will make 15. I'm signing it on with the Blue Star tomorrow. Is it going to be a tough ride? Oh, yes. You should have came here, that one guy, because we have more loads. In a market like this, it's hard when you're with a company that has a closed load board, which means you're only getting to book whatever's on that board. And yes, you could try to find, if you know one of the agents really well, might be able to get something from another outside broker and have them stick it through there and all that, but it's a pain. But if you're working on a closed load board like Schneider, JB, Landstar, it's a rough go because you only see what they want you to see. It's a rough business, right? When times are tough. Because, you know, like at the Blue Star, if you're in Atlanta and you do a search and 100 loads pop up, but if you look on the DAT and there's 700 loads, or 123, and there's 700 or 600 or 5, you're missing out on all that extra freight because you don't get to see it. That's the only problem. But we wish you luck there. And do yourself a favor, that one guy. Figure out your daily cost. They're going to tell you all about cost per mile. They're going to teach you that. Don't they, Snorlax? I still think they teach you that. That might be good to know, but that's not going to help you out to save your business. You really need to know your daily cost and book loads according to your daily cost. So if you book towards your daily costs and above, then you're really not looking at what the rate per mile is, because that means nothing. It means nothing. So you can look at every single load that's on the board, and you can do the math. If it picks up close by and it goes same day, next day delivery, whatever it is, and it meets your daily cost or above, that's a profitable load. And I don't care how many comments come in here and say, oh, you're hauling cheap freight or this. No. We run a business. It's a business. If it's profitable, it's profitable. If you sit for days, you're not profitable, because you won't be able to make that up in this market. You won't find a load to be able to make up the 3 days you sit. Stuart, that's why the Brits are so smart, and you're right. It's got to be in the water. Well, yeah, that has to follow the innovators, right? Because 1, 2, 3 load board at the show, we're just down the road, right? So they come and they see what goes on, but it takes them forever, right? It takes them forever. Good evening, everyone. Finally ready to roll. Truck all organized, says Shannon. Well, congratulations, Shannon, on getting the truck organized. You did get the appointment, right? I sent you the appointment time tomorrow. Let's see what we got here. Jeff, Stuart hasn't got a wrench. Support the British, young Jeff. Support the British. Well, I can't do the wrench on the stuff I'm using right now. I'll get him one. Your expenses, Pigtail says, your expenses overhead don't stop because you're not running. Sitting is expensive. It is. Now look, no one does orientation like this company right here. No one. Orientation is fast. It should never be days, right? Never be days, because you're losing money. You come here, you're in and out fast, right? As fast as you learn it. So a few hours, no more than the day, and you're done and gone. And no one feeds you a better meal than what we do. Isn't that right, Shannon? No one takes you out for a better lunch or dinner, whichever one it is, than we do. Are you Brits okay? Chuck and T-Bone. Your arms are going to be hurting from all that patting yourself on the back. Do your thing. I've not moved over 12 months. I've paid my truck expenses, willing to pay another year. Thank you. Learned a lot from you. Well, yeah. I mean, people can do that, right? But you got other streams of income. You have to. Or if you're just sitting a year, then you're spending a lot of money, right? You're taking all that money you're saving and putting it out. But T-Bine is a long-haired trucker from Michigan. I'm not going to say that, nomadic Brit. FB knows all about repair expenses. Casualty says, what happens with a brand new truck when a part goes out and nowhere has it because of the year old and no one carries the parts? Are you stuck for 3 weeks? Well, no, because here's the thing. They always have the part. Where most people fall into this is called laziness, all right? Because I have some friends that have brand new trucks, and You call up, right? You call the dealer 'cause they're getting it fixed wherever they're at, and they say, okay, well, we don't have the part. It's on back order. It's going to take 2 weeks. No, there's a part. Just that dealers don't give other dealers the parts like they used to. So what you've got to do is call around. Call the different states. And if they have the part, drive and get the part. Go rent a car. Go get the part and come back. So what if it costs you $500, $600, $700? You're not sitting for 3 weeks. You go get the part, take it to the dealer, say, here's the part, fix my truck. I've had several friends do that. They drove from Michigan down to southern Ohio, got the part, came back and gave them the part. Because the dealers won't sell to the other dealers, but they'll sell to you. But a lot of them will make you walk in to get the part. They won't mail it. So that's the thing. You gotta do what you need to do to get it done. Only reason I have a used truck is I have the knowledge and told to fix the truck. If you didn't have that skill, I'd be buying a new one. Right, exactly. If you're not a wrencher, then you don't have a used truck because you need to wrench on it yourself to save the money and things like that. But I'm agreeing. Sitting is not it. Yeah, Jose, the cab over made you shorter, of course. People forgot the downtime money lost, right? Tennessee Trucking, we know you like working on trucks. We know you do. Let's see what else is going on. I'm still profitable at $1.50. Rather have 3 every time, but I'd rather move around and get a better load. Deadhead over 500 miles last week to a better market, then got 324 and 800 miles. Exactly. It doesn't matter how far you have to deadhead. You could deadhead 500 miles. You could deadhead 1,000 miles. As long as the math works out, it works out. Just like way back when the race tanked. I had a driver down in Florida. Deadheaded, said, look, if you deadhead all the way up to Kentucky, and you take that load from Kentucky up to Indiana, it paid more money in your pocket net than taking a load out of Florida all the way to Indiana. So that load sat down there in the dock, and that truck went, 700, 800 miles up the road, got the load, and went and delivered, and made more money. What's up, Shadow Wolf? Man, hey, it's cold here. You might want to divert for, 3 weeks to 4 weeks before you come up here. It's cold, man. You know what I'm talking about? It's cold. Still cold. I'll be interested in that, says this trucking life. What else we got? MHD says, hope you're doing great. Just a quick question. When negotiating with a broker, are we supposed to add the deadhead miles to the loaded miles and try to cover it up in price and why they calculate? Well, it's all about how much money you need to run your business, right? So the way I look at deadhead is I don't add it in and care about what the rate per mile is afterwards. I look at how much fuel cost it's going to cost me. And then I subtract that from the rate and see what's left over. Or you can add that in the rate. So if you know it's going to cost you $100 for fuel to do that deadhead, then bump the rate up by $200. And if you settle in the middle for $150 or even $100, you covered your expense. Brokers don't care about your deadhead. That's a true fact. They don't. Why don't they care? Because they're not the ones, they didn't make you go to wherever you last unloaded. So they don't care how far it is to their load. Their load's in town A and goes to town B. So they're basing all out of town A. So if you're in town A, you have no deadhead. Anything other than that, they don't care. That's your expense to get to that load. Now, when times are really good and there's a lot of freight and hardly no trucks, yes, you can get more money for them to try to get you there, right? Yes, it consumes fuel. That's why you take the fuel out that it costs you to burn that deadhead, and you factor that into the next load and roll on. Costs $5.95 a day after all expenses, fuel, maintenance, insurance, truck and trailer, rental, home bills, working 305 days. That's what this Truck in Life says. Cost per day definitely is easier to equate to the real world. All our bills are on a 30-day cycle, so why not run our business like that? Right. Every business has a daily value, right, of what it costs. So your truck and insurance and all that is fixed cost. Fuel's a variable. We don't count that because we're going to deduct that from the load and see if we cover our fixed cost. So you can take a fixed cost for the whole year, divide it by 365 days in the year, and you got exactly what that costs. It's going to cost you every single day of the year. So it's easy. But hardly no one does it because they're all stuck on rate per mile. Would you calculate LATURS taxes, inventory, the yearly costs? Ronald, I think, you calculate everything in there, right? You calculate it all. You can look at your last year's to see what you paid. I think you're talking about paying taxes and things like that. That's home expense, right? Because most guys and gals out here run either a single proprietorship, or they, sole proprietor, or they run an S corporation, LLC, or something like that. And those entities funnel down the profit or loss to your Schedule C, right? S Corp doesn't go to Schedule C. S Corp comes with a Schedule K1 that gets brought in. But they all come down to where you're going to pay the taxes on the profit, or you deduct the loss from your money. Yes, Snorlord's cost per day is $7,800 a day. Look for spot markets that are still in demand seasonally. Flowers and shrubs in spring, propane in winter, maybe pulp logs in Great White North, dirt in summer, and dump. Right, so like right now in spring, you're going to have a lot of mulch loads and dirt loads coming up for vans, right? The old man, what's up? El Jefe, what's going on? Met RD at the truck show. Great guy, man. Glad to meet you in person. Yeah, piece of cake. There you go. Nightbot is telling you, RD, telling you. What's up, Pale Rider? Nice meeting you at the truck show. Oh, well, I've known him for a long time, right, Pale Rider? Jeff got a hot dog and a burger at Prime. The meat was refused. Freight at the receiver. Dealer told me to wait 2 weeks for one box. Drove down to Atlanta and picked up same day and had it in my truck running 3 days later. Exactly, JVC. Right? Look, you guys and gals, you got to treat it like a business, man. If that dealership says they don't have the part, it's on back order, and it won't be for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, pick the phone up and call every single place in the United States. You're going to find that part. You will find the part. See, the problem is they don't want to do that. Their supplier don't have it. They're not going to make all the phone calls for you. They don't care. They'll let your business sit out there in a parking lot. They have they don't care about you. You got to care about yourself and your business. So you do the due diligence. You find that part. Go get it. Bring it to them. Say, here's the part. Put it on my truck. Let's go. And you're rolling. Divide costs on 11 month. Everybody deserves vacation and downtime. Right. So if you want to do your daily costs, on 240 days a year, which is working 20 days a month, which is taking weekends off, you just take your yearly total and divide it by 240. And that's what you got. So, for example, if your yearly cost was $24,000, divide that by 240. And you get $100 a day, right? For those 20 days that you're out. I'm getting some stock stuff on my watch to look at tomorrow. So there you go. We use 123 load board. We love the tools. And they brought out these extra rate checks right here that you're not going to get on any other load board. These are real valuable. You can sit here and look and see what's going on between the 3 rate check tools. And you will see that Cargo Chief puts it right in there at the 267,783 compared to the 227. And it's right in between the green screens. So, what time is it? 8:45. I mean, we could take a guess. Do we want to do a guess and keep rolling, or do we want to leave? How long have we been on this thing? 57 minutes. We could take a guess. Let me see if we can copy this. All right, let's see if we can post this. Copied. There you go. Anybody want to join in? There's the link. We do want to welcome our newest member to the family, Shannon Thomas Trucking. STT is what I just shortened down. I call her STT. We want to congratulate her on making her move to this company. And there's a lot of great things to come because we have a lot of new business ideas going forward, and we have other businesses that we're going to grow over the next few years. So we're excited to have her and all of our contractors in this deal here. So let's see. Somebody's coming in. We don't know who it is. We're just going to put him in here. What's up, Richard?
Hey, Jeff, how are you, man?
What's going on, man?
Well, it has been a minute.
Yes. Been a while, ain't it?
Yes. I mean, I am learning. I'm a copycat. Every word you said, I follow it like a gospel.
Yeah, so what are you doing, my friend? Where are you at?
I'm currently in Florida.
Oh, I don't want to talk to you, man. It's cold up here.
It's hot. I almost want to take off my shirt. But the thing is that I'm from the island, so kind of used to this weather.
Right, you're used to that warm weather.
Yes. I wasn't able to make it to. I've said if live spirit next year, make it to the
truck show.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, come visit us when you come there.
Yeah, I will definitely do. I try I don't know the amount of paper I have with you with whatever information they give out. I've been following you from a matter of fact from I was in trucking school, and you inspired me to become an owner app. At one time I wanted to join you, but I don't know, for some strange reason I couldn't get through. I was just unable to get through. I send persons to you, they say they call, they can't get through. I don't know. I don't know at all.
You have your own authority, or?
Yes. I have my own authority. Yeah. You know, I do everything you say. Man, it's clear to me how you it's clear, and I'm able to. I feel much confidence as the day goes by, man, and just try the things that you said, and it works.
It works, right? I mean, it's not. Why fix something that's not broken, right?
Yes.
And we're glad, we're glad you made it to your level, right? And
yes,
we're happy and wish you the best success in this business.
But I still, even though I am getting there, I still try to follow you guys to, you know, to tiptoe as to, because my ambition is really to be where you at.
Well,
I'll be just like you.
Send me an email with your phone number.
Right.
And then I'll send you my phone number. So if you need help, you can just get a hold of me.
The help is, I tried either have another program where you sign up. I can't get you. For some stranger, I just can't get you to.
Go to my website and just leave a message in there, and I'll get
I did that.
message.
I did that.
Nah, let me check. It could be going to spam. Let me check my.
Well, for the past 3 years, I sent over 2 guys. They said one said you will get back to them. I don't know. I know I'm not sending it to the wrong email. Like Chuck, and I even talked to Snow Lord once upon a time, and he gave me the info because I wanted the dispatching thing. I still have problem with that also, and I got the thing, and I haven't got through back. Nobody got back through to me, so I don't know, but I don't give up still. So I don't know. I can't get through to you guys. I don't know how well it works today. I mean, I maybe it's just luck.
Busy. Don't give me all of your email. Just give me the first couple letters.
It's task trucking.
What is it?
Task trucking.
Fast?
Task, TASS, trucking.
Okay, let me search all my mailboxes and see.
It has probably about three from used to put out the nightly videos. I used to put up those videos. It's like a Sunday school service. I just was man, I was glued to those things, man. And then you have a sign up. I tried to sign up on that.
I got only 4 matches, but they're not you.
Task trucking from one from 001, one from Ricardo Edwards at gmail.com.
I got a Ricardo Ben.
No. Let me see if I find. Once upon a time, I get a response. And then I don't know if it's Snowlord or you send me an email. And let me see if I find it.
Is
and
it?
Somebody said they will get back to you. Let me see if I find it.
Ricardo Gosier.
SIER. Nah, I don't know.
No.
Brig runner logistics dispatching.
All right, send another email through there with your info.
To the rig runner logistics.com.
Yeah, send it to there.
So somebody had sent me this one, you know. And then they have dispatching and light trucking. So I tried those 2.
It's not dispatching, it's dispatch.
Oh.
So it's probably not getting to us.
Oh, it's dispatch. Oh,
yeah.
At light. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's probably not getting to us.
Yeah, what you do? Task trucking at gmail.com and I respond to you.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me
man,
I'll send you an email. Hold on.
over 3 years now. TASS trucking at gmail.com.
Yeah, because you're sending it to the wrong email address.
And then I sent two. I sent a guy and a girl over to you. Um, um. So I'm that one of the guy he couldn't get through to. I know he's with me, and I didn't even know what to do with him because I'm not so versed in that area. So even though that I get through to you, I'm gonna when you answer me, I'm gonna forward him to you.
Okay.
He's a good guy. Yeah. Yeah, man. I need.
I'll put my phone number in there too. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me know if you got it.
Oh, hold on. Yes.
You get it?
Finally.
All right. Now we got it.
Finally, man. So even the 1, 2, 3. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to it. Your 1, 2, 3.
Persistence pays off, Richard.
even the 1, 2. Even the one. To be frank, even what happens is even I'd save because one of the time I go out and see the program, and I even saved that money before I got my truck.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yep, we're here.
Yes. And I saved to join the different tier. And, but nothing happened before the time still because maybe it's just
Oh, he's gone. He must have bad weather coming in. Ricardo, send me an email. I haven't got an email back from him, so. Well, I got his email in there now, so we're good. We're good. Anybody else want to join before we jump off here? I'm snow over snow, and this is the first time I hit this year, I-90. South Dakota. Yo, pigtail. What's up, Josh the vegan? Gus says nobody cares. Hey, Jeff. I did that at a Pale Rider dealer during the chip shortage. The shop foreman told me a month. I went to the truck and made one call, and the part came right on FedEx. Yes, it does work. You're right. Right, Shadow Up. I don't know this character. There's somebody coming in here. Somebody named Stewart. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's not a British guy, is it?
I'm
Australian?
Yeah, I'm dealing with this stuff right now. I'm not liking it.
No,
I-90 shut down. I should never have came out here. I figured I'll go out west and enjoy it. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it right now.
You know what happens when you show snow in April on this program?
What's that?
See ya, Stuart. Booted him right out. Gave him the old hit the dump valve, man. You show snow, cold. I don't want snow and cold because I could only go snowmobiling for one day this year. Boom, gone. See ya, dump valve. Come back in, Stuart. I'm just kidding with you. There you go. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm streaming live to LinkedIn right now. Right now. Pigtail says congratulations to STT. Professor has real business knowledge and accurate business strategies. Well, thanks, Pigtail. I just teach what I have learned over 30 years in this business. And believe me, I've done a lot. Right? That's why when I say sit for 2, 3, or 4 or 5 days because you think you need a certain rate per mile or you're not going to haul cheap freight, it's not because I'm talking out you know what. It's because I've lived it. I've done it. I know what's good and I know what's bad. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. So over the years, I made a winning formula, right, that works. because you can't stay in this business as owner-operator for 20 plus years and not have a strategy that works. So, and I'm just passing that along, right? I don't have to do YouTube videos. I'd be just fine. But just like Ricardo, he watched the show, helped, he learned a lot of stuff, bought a truck, got his own authority, and I'd have took him over here. He'd have been over here working over here if he had put the right email address in there. Come on back in, Stuart. We won't kick you out. Will Burner Express, what's happening? Did you hear the news, Will Burner? That Shannon is now at Light Trucking. Going to roll her first load tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we can get rolling again. And I came down here. Weather this year has been tough. Says Bigtail, drinking coffee and watching Jeff, enjoying the weather here on my patio. Life is great. How's the boy doing, Bigtail? Nice meeting you and your family. That was awesome. We had a good time at Matt's, right? So, how to book loads with Pepsi? Man, that's a great question, Jerome. Pepsi's website stinks. It stinks. So, what you got to do, and this is a good thing about having programs like AXISTMS, Trucking Office. I promote both those programs. They're great programs. Both have discounts down there in the description below. And why are those programs so important? Because you could go back and say Pepsi and bring up all the Pepsi loads that you hauled. And guess what's on those rate cons? A different agent for Pepsi on mainly all those rate cons. But guess what? You have their phone number. That's how you book loads with Pepsi. You call that number. If that person don't answer, grab another rate con, call that number. Somebody will answer because any agent at Pepsi can book any of the loads. All you need is that load number off of 123 DAT, wherever you're getting that load. You're looking at that load, there'll be a Pepsi number there. All you gotta do is give that person that Pepsi number, and guess what? Now you have a Pepsi rate con and you're rolling down the road. That is how you book loads with Pepsi. And you got their email addresses, so you could email them and they will email you back. But you also have their personal phone number. Call them. And if one, like I said, if one don't answer the email, call another. If that don't answer the email, there you go. Here's Stuart back with some technical difficulty that he had earlier.
It's
up,
that
Stuart?
snowman. It was messing with me.
Yeah, it froze your connection up.
Yeah. No, man. I just want to say, right, about the cost per day. I think and I put it in the comments earlier, it equates to the real world so much better. Everything's on a 30-day cycle. Your truck payments, your mortgage, and when you can break it down to something which makes more sense to everything else and it falls in line, number one, it's easier to understand. At the end of the day, everyone has a target number they have to have, right? To survive and cover their bills and pay away. And if you're below that number, okay,
something doesn't get paid,
cycle, right? Yeah, exactly. Someone's falling behind, right? And so, however, look, at the end, I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you just have a number and you just run and you try and do it all in 2 weeks. But the reality is, if you're out here and you want to drive 20 days a year, 25 days a year, or a month, sorry, you have a certain number you have to hit per day to make that target. And every day you sit there and don't take a load because you're not finding that rate per mile, you're now going in the hole. It's a constant moving number. Now you want to do double the next day or break that day that you've lost up to the remaining days to make it to work out. And that's I don't know why that's such a hard concept for people to grasp.
You know why? You know why, Stuart?
Because at the end,
You know why it's a
How's
hard
that?
concept?
I don't know.
Because everybody values trucking as rate per mile. How much is that load paying
But
per
where does that
mile,
come
right? That's what everybody wants to know. How much is
Yeah.
that load paying per mile?
Yeah.
That's why it's a
But
hard
why
concept.
why is it per mile basis though? Where does the concept per mile come from? Right?
That's how
Where,
it's been. See,
where
that's
does
how
it,
it's been for ever since I've been in trucking. They always went by, hey, what's that load paying per mile? Right?
and the irony of it all is, if you ask these guys that take that base it on a rate per mile, ask them their cost per mile. They probably can't tell you their cost per mile.
No,
I
they
mean, that's
can't.
the irony of it. They can tell you how much their mortgage is each month, or they can tell you how much their truck payment is each month, which is based off a daily basis, a 30-day cycle. But they can't they can't figure out their cost per mile. So I just, I don't understand why we look. Trucking's not rocket science. We have this inert ability to overcomplicate shit in this industry. Everything we freaking do in this world is, for the most part, financially is done on a 30-day cycle, right?
Right.
Why don't we run our business that way? The way we break down how we run and how we want to produce revenue. Why don't we base it on a 30-day cycle? And we break that down per day, or whatever, how many days you want to drive, or how many days you want to work. I don't know, man. I think sometimes we like to hear ourselves talk to try and be the smartest man in the room, and we just overcomplicate shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What's up, Pigtail?
Stuart's right. Hey, Stu, it's 72 degrees here.
You know what? Pigtail, here goes a dump. I kick him out too, because it's not hot here and it's not snowing, but it's right in between. I'll kick you both out. Watch this. No, it's okay.
The hook.
Jeff, you must have tornado warnings coming your way, right? I was just watching the weather, and they said they're coming through. There was some weather coming through your way, right?
Yeah. I got hit by a tornado in trucking, and it almost put me over the cliff. It picked the truck up and slid me across the road back in the day.
Damn.
Yeah. I got a lot of
Em's
trucking
loaded.
stories I can tell, but that's for another day.
Well, I think Stuart and you speak the truth there, Jeff. It's people don't treat their business, the way
like a
they treat
business.
their life, and their business is their life. So,
Right.
they got to start looking in the mirror and saying, what are my costs? If I'm going to sit for 3 days and wait for that unicorn load or wait for $3 a mile, what does that really cost me? If you're supposed to be making $1,200 a day, that's $3,600 because you are upset because you couldn't get the rate. That doesn't.
And
make
there's no
business
way you're
sense.
going to make that money up.
Responsible.
Right. You
That's the
can't
thing.
make
When
that
the
money
day's
up.
gone, you can't ever get those drive hours back.
Right.
People can get upset when you do a video that tells the truth because they're afraid to examine themselves. If they listen to what you're saying, it's kind of common sense. And if it's not, you really need to examine your business and say, am I making money at all?
Well, I learn from everybody, right? Because no one knows everything, and you're always learning every single day. Right? We can all agree on that. If you keep an open mind and look at everybody's comments and their own perspective on trucking, you can learn something from everybody.
Well, if I wanted to start learning to haul tanker, I'd call Nomadic Brit and I'd say, tell me all about your experiences. What were your pitfalls? What were your potholes? What mistakes did you make when you first started so I can try to avoid them? I would take all his mistakes, use them to my benefit, and then go make my own mistakes, because the only way to learn is to fail, and you've only completely failed if you give up. So as long as you keep getting up and getting behind the wheel and driving, you're a success. And
Right.
you can raise your profitability from 1 to 2 to 5 to 15 to 30% if you just keep at it and listen to the good advice that you get at locations. I think I agree with Stuart. I love his channel. I like it when he goes go-kart racing. But right now he's ice skating up there in the winter, and I'm sitting here 72 degrees with my dogs on my patio, drinking coffee, enjoying life.
Whatever.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it
Whatever.
beautiful? Hey, congratulations on Shannon. I'm very excited for her to be at your company. She's going to do great.
She's going to do
extremely motivated.
She's going to do good. She has the right business mind to succeed.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah.
And her daily cost is low.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that, Jeff. I think that's going to be a good story to watch, and I think it's going to show how you can be successful with new equipment in this market. I think it's going to really highlight, it's not, how you set yourself up, the people you surround yourself with, and it's, just having the right mindset. We all know 90% of it's mindset. Right?
It is.
You have the right mindset, you make the right decisions, and you set yourself up. And I sort of touched on it earlier, right? And I do agree with you. In this market, a new truck is definitely the way to go. And like I said, if I didn't have the skill set that I have to fix a truck, or the tools and that ability, I wouldn't be in a used truck. Because I know I'm going to pay in labor. So you've got to self-evaluate yourself and be honest with yourself in business, and be like, okay, what can I do, to keep as many hands out the pot as possible, to be successful, to keep your costs low. If that means, having a new truck with a warranty, because you don't have the mechanical ability to do it, that's the way you go, right? And it's but a lot of people stick their head in the sand and just, don't have that honest conversation with themselves. Or how many days do you want to be away from home? That's another one, right? You hear guys that are, they want to be gone 10 days of the month, and that's it. It's like, well, is that where do you live? What, if you're living in the middle of Wyoming, is that something which is really feasible where you live? Can you be gone that short a period of time? Maybe you have to look at relocating where you live. I mean, I lived in Florida. I moved to just north of Nashville because it put me in a better freight line to where I could get home more often. It's making them, that's the sacrifice you have to make in business, right?
That's a good point, Stuart. Excellent point. We're truck drivers. Truck drivers can live anywhere. So why not live in a great freight lane? Why not move there?
But Jeff, as you said, you can be successful. There's 100 different ways to skin the cat. If I want to run with new equipment, I can be successful if I have the right mindset, and I do my due diligence, and I have a business plan, and I know how I want to run it. I can be successful with paid-off equipment. You don't have to have paid-off equipment to be successful as an owner-operator. You don't have to. You need a business plan so you know what you're going to do.
That's just like you don't need a fuel-efficient truck to be successful as an owner-operator if that truck, that piece of equipment, you're using for the right job. So if you're a heavy hauler hauling super heavy loads, it doesn't matter what truck you got pulling in front of that thing, you're going to get 3 miles a gallon. So you could have...
I'm not taking Shannon's truck to the oil field, right?
No,
That's not the right equipment.
That's not the right equipment.
I'm going to go buy a 6 or 7 year old truck and go beat it to hell. Replace the shocks and tires all the time. Equipment for the task.
It's just like if you are a local guy running in Washington and Oregon and running nothing but the mountains, then you're going to have a truck geared for the mountains.
Yep. If you're running from, say, Kansas City to Denver, flat land, I'm looking for fuel mileage.
Right, fuel efficiency.
I'm going to change my gearing and my rear end to be set up for that. It just depends on what you want to do it for. If you need a versatile truck where you run some mountains and some flat, you split the difference, right? What's more important, fuel or climbing? If you just go buy a truck, is this a good deal? Or I see it all the time on your channel. Hey, Jeff, is this a good deal? With no details. Well, it depends. Are you going to haul logs? Or are you going to run dry van spot market rates in the Midwest? I mean, you can be successful. There are guys that live in Florida, and they are successful. But you can be more successful if you are in a freight lane that has a lot of freight, if you're in the Midwest with cheaper diesel prices. But that's not necessary to be successful. That just is more likely that you will be if you take those in consideration and put them in your business plan.
Right. So when I went out and looked for trucks, right, that for Shannon, I went out and looked. I looked at some used trucks. I looked at Volvos. I looked at Max. I went over to KW and Pete. They didn't have nothing. I went over to International. Then they had that truck with the X15. And for the money, they gave us a warranty that can't be beat. So that's the truck.
Well, I think that's great. I just got the trucks I ordered 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I just got them.
Well, that's what this truck was, right? Is somebody ordered it, but now they didn't want it because it took too long.
Yeah, yeah. That's a long. When you build your business plan, if you don't take that into consideration, you say, well, I'm going to replace my truck every 4 years, and then something like a black swan event like COVID happens, and that screws up your business plan. How do you pivot? You don't give up on your plan, but you do pivot. You have to be willing to change your plan based on the conditions. Nobody planned for $6 fuel. Now, some people might have recommended to other people that they know, hey, what would you do if it's $5, $6, $7? But a lot of people are like, oh, it'll never go that high. Hey, guess what? It did. So in your business plan, you just plan for, well, if that happens, to Stuart's point, how do I reduce my expenses as much as possible so I can increase my profitability? Where do I move? If I live in Florida and I have to basically deadhead out to get a load in Atlanta, maybe I move to Atlanta for a couple years or whatever to be more successful. It's just easier, you know?
Right. DJ says she has the right attitude and has ambition. A lot of people don't have that nowadays. That's true. So yeah, this is our second lease truck now, but that's a division that I'll probably grow over the next couple of years.
I'm very excited to watch it grow. I think she's going to be a great candidate. I think she'll do you proud. I know she'll work her butt off, which I think is great. But also your attitude. Stuart talked about this in another video, but all you can control is how you respond to a situation. If you're stuck at a shipper for 2 days without a door, you can be super negative about that, or you can use that as an opportunity to walk around and network with other guys that are stuck there. You can walk in, build a relationship with that customer. It's not all wasted time. It's unfortunate because you're going to lose running revenue, but look at your attitude. What can you do to improve your business?
Right.
So I started at Snyder when Jeff was there. I've been watching his videos since I've been in trucking, and Jeff, you just lay it down, and I haven't yet found any areas that have been untrue or exaggerated. Whereas a lot of other channels, they just like to exaggerate and talk about, put it on the glass. Well, show me your business acumen. Show me how you got out of a tough situation. Show me how you made money when freight was $2 a mile. That's what I want to see. Anybody can make money when it's $5 a mile. Show me what you did when things were tough. Yeah.
And Stuart,
how did you make it?
Stuart did it the right way.
He did.
When used trucks were astronomical money, he sold that truck and took the huge profit.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And he went and basically rented a truck for a while.
Right, because now, in a couple more months, Stuart could buy that same truck back for half the price, probably.
Half the price.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Jeff. Right, the timing was good. I bought that Pete at the right time, right when everything shut down for COVID. Right.
Right.
I ran with that truck at a really good, had really good rates. The reality is, right, that truck was my worst business decision ever. Now, did I get away with it? Yes, I got away with that truck because the rates were so good. The rates were so good, and the rates hid how much it cost to run that truck. And I'll be the first to admit that. Now, I got very lucky and had the knowledge, not the knowledge, but I could see what was coming, right? I saw what was coming down the line. Fuel prices started going up, rates were dropping off. And in my mind, I'd said, okay, if rates go below this number, I'm going to have, could I make it work? My truck payment was only $2,600 a month. Yeah, I could make it work. But I didn't want to spend, 25 days away from home to make it work. I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm a slave to the truck to make that payment. So I was like, you know what? Sell it, cash the money, go and do what I did with the whole ARDA thing with the lease and rent that truck. it brought me, 6 months to where the market could do what it needed to do, and I'm now in a truck for $15,000, which, I mean, I've had one issue with it. I blew a radiator hose. That's it. And
What I like, Stuart,
I'm
Stuart, is that you probably really like that truck, but you recognized it was just a tool for your business. It wasn't the love of your life. You were willing to walk away, make a good business decision, and then maybe get back in later and get the truck that you like. You don't have to be married to a piece of equipment. It's just a tool for your business.
Look, I would rather have a brand new Corvette sat in the driveway than a brand new 389.
Bingo. Bingo.
That's the reality. That's the reality behind it. I would rather have a new Polaris Razor. I'd rather have a new jet ski than have a what? Do you think a carpenter cares what fucking brand hammer he has?
No.
As long as it's a 16, he just wants it to knock damn nails in, and he would rather have the luxuries at home. And that's just it's a business. It's not
right.
Look, as much as people
and look, Stuart,
lifestyle, it's not a lifestyle.
Look, Stuart, if you have that fancy truck, I mean, do you really get good sleep? Because they're always worried about somebody hitting it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why not have the toys at home and enjoy life at home? Because the truck's just a tool.
Well, Jeff, the Dean's a perfect example. He bought a truck he really loved, and he didn't want to give that up. But he recognized that was, at this point, not a good business decision, and he pivoted and bought a more fuel-efficient truck. Now, I know that killed him, but I'm admiring his business acumen and where he recognized, look, this is going to make life really difficult. I got a better chance of my company surviving if I get more fuel-efficient trucks. So he's not a plastic truck guy. I know him.
Oh, he's not.
W9,
it's killing him driving that truck every day. It's killing him.
No doubt. But he could drink some more, whatever, green tea or whatever. He'll get over it.
Yeah. His next latte or whatever it is.
And when rates go back up, if he wants to get back into a 4.4 mile per gallon truck, he can.
Right, and he will.
I don't use a Corvette to go to the grocery store, but if I was making a lot of money, I might.
Stuart uses a side-by-side to go to the grocery store where he lives. He can drive a side-by-side down the road.
I bet he does.
He does.
Slingshot, a slingshot or a side-by-side? Sure, why not?
Hey, Stuart just drives the Bentley.
Well, that's my dad's. I can't take any credit for that. I mean, that's my dad's. So,
have you driven it?
Yeah, for about over a causeway and back. He let me drive it one time, but that was he won't. Yeah. My brother, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, my brother screwed that up for me. My dad went on a cruise, and my younger brother was living. And my brother, he had a brand new Mercedes. It was the SLK 55 AMG, and my brother took that out to Orlando when my dad was out on vacation, and my dad had GPS on the car. And he saw my brother driving back from Orlando back to Melbourne Beach doing 170 miles an hour. So us kids got all driving privileges on his cars pretty much got revoked after that point, thanks to my brother. So I was like, well, thanks a lot, buddy. You screwed that up for us. So.
Yeah, but Stuart, you don't have to pay the insurance on a Bentley, and you got to drive a Bentley. That's really the best way to mitigate your risk.
Yeah, true. This is true.
It's not cheap. I guarantee it's not cheap.
Nope. And again, it's a consumable, right? It depreciates and it loses value. You don't want to buy one. It's better to drive your dad's.
Yeah, no, my dad was telling me he lives in on the Space Coast. He has to drive it over to Orlando to get stuff done to it. That's the nearest dealership. Just for a set of brake pads all the way around, it's like $7,000. For brake pads.
Ouch.
I'm like, you're out of your freaking mind, dude. I'm like, I don't care. I said for $7,000, that thing better make you moan. Really.
It's kind of like Corvette tires, right? They only last a year, cost you a few $1,000.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go, guys. You keep up the good work, Jeff. Keep pumping out the accurate information and the facts and the truth, and let the comments fall where they do. Okay, those
Yeah.
people are just in denial. You can't argue with math. You can't. You can be mad all you want, but it's math.
It's math.
1 + 1 is 2. It's just math. So, there's no other way to say it. I thought your video with Alex was spot on, and I didn't read all the comments, but some of them I'm like, I feel sorry for those people. I hope they wake up, and I hope they stay in business. But it's just unfortunate. Math is math, and it adds up one way, and I'm all about profit. So if you can make, like you said, a penny or $200 a day, I'm not sitting. I'm driving.
Right.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Well,
Later.
we've been on here an hour and a half, so we're going to get out of here and go watch some TV for the last few minutes. Thanks for coming in, Stuart. Appreciate it. And go throw some snowballs. All right. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for everybody coming in. We'll try to do some more of these live feeds this week. We'll see you.